Okay, it's October 21st, so regional cuisine, and today we are making a Hershey Reese's peanut butter blossom cookies. Okay, the recipe's in your Google Classroom. Will be posted in the bottom of the video when it's once I upload this up to YouTube later. Okay, so this is a simple cookie recipe. We're gonna have some wet in one bowl. We're gonna have some dry in another bowl, similar to when we did pumpkin bread a couple weeks back, right? And this is gonna have a neat little trick for putting some Hershey Kisses on top. So it's going to be a nice flavor combination of two of your favorites, probably, right? Reese's Peanut Butter and Hershey's Chocolate Kisses going together. So this is good for holidays. They're good for bake aheads if you do any kind of holiday cookie swaps, things like that. It'll be good for that. So we're going to start off with wet ingredients in one mixing bowl. So I've got a good size mixing bowl here, right? A little wooden spoon. Got all my ingredients laid out. So I'm going to go through these with you guys step by step as we go, right? And then you're going to get to see this all come together. So the first thing that's going into this recipe is half a cup of shortening, right? So Crisco, store brand, things like that. Just make sure it's a vegetable shortening, right? Nice and white. So you don't want to have oil. You want to have a nice solid vegetable shortening, okay? So I already pre-measured that just to save a little bit of time. Right? Measuring out everything else as we go here. So half a cup of shortening in the bowl. And then we're going to be adding in 3/4 of a cup of Reese's Peanut Butter. Okay, so this is legit, the Reese's Peanut Butter. Nice and creamy. Got that flavor that you like, right? And I don't have a 3/4 cup measure, but I do have a 1/4 cup. So I'm going to do 3 of these total. Okay, so already got 1 measured in there. And then I'm going to measure in 2 more. Okay, be precise in your measuring, right? You want a nice level cup on everything. Some things will get packed down today, which you'll get to see the first time, like the brown sugar. All right, so 2 going in, and then we just need 1 more, so that's will give us 3/4 of a cup. And most measuring sets will have a 1/4 cup, so that way you can do the same method, right? Okay, so we have our 3rd one there. Scrape off the excess. Get this into the bowl. And we're going to blend these two together. So I have a nice sturdy wooden spoon. You can use a nice heavy-duty kind of spatula. Rubber spatula is fine. Okay. But I just want to start to incorporate together the shortening and the peanut butter. Okay. Because it's the shortening that's harder to kind of blend in more than anything else, right? So this is kind of a creaming technique. I use a lot of the back of the wooden spoon. Right? I just want to make sure that that shortening is not lumpy. Okay. And the reason why we're using shortening in these cookies because it'll help them hold their shape better. Right? If I use butter or margarine, it'll tend to spread more and we won't be able to do the little trick of the Hershey Kiss on top. So that's why this recipe uses a shortening base instead. Okay. So now I'm going to do a 1/3 of a cup of regular white granulated sugar. Okay. And then we're going to be doing in a 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar. So nice level measurement on the white sugar. Right. Now the brown sugar is one that you want to pack into the little cup. So I'm going to put my cup here in the bag. And I'm going to use that plastic bag to help me kind of smush that cup full. All right. Really pack it in there. Get it nice and level. Let's see. I'm going to get that nice, solid, packed cup of brown sugar, right? Enough where I can go like this. So we get that in there. So we're going to blend in our 2 sugars. So we got brown sugar and we've got white sugar. You'll start to see this come together pretty quickly. Right? You just want to keep mixing as you go. And it's always good to scrape the sides and the bottom of that bowl, right? You don't want to end up with little lumps of shortening or sugar mixed in there inside your cookies, right? You want to keep that going. So we're going to do 1 large egg. Remember, crack it on the counter. Put our egg in. And then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of just regular whole milk. 2 level tablespoons. 1 and 2. All right, like I said, this is all of our wet stuff. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And that's going to be all of our liquid ingredients, right? So a teaspoon of vanilla. Vanilla really helps to bring out a lot of the other flavors in baking. And you'll see that in most cookie recipes. Okay. And this is going to be really wet. So you just want to really blend very well. Right. Stir it all together. It kind of looks like a peanut butter soup at the moment, right? Because we've got so many wet ingredients in there. We just want to get this till it's pretty much somewhat smooth, right? Make sure that that egg is well blended in. Okay, so now you can see it there. Okay. So then I'm going to switch over to another bowl to do my dry ingredients. Okay. And so for that, it's going to be 1.5 cups of just a regular all-purpose flour. Okay, so just basics. Going to be a little baking soda and a little bit of salt. We're going to blend this together in this bowl, and then it's going to get mixed in with the peanut butter mix a little bit at a time. Okay. So we're going to take our nice level. Remember to scrape off the top, right, for your excess. So nice level 1 cup measure of flour. Reuse my half cup over here. So same thing with the half cup. So it's 1.5 cups. So 1 full cup, 1/2 a cup. Okay, to make the recipe. Work out any lumps in that flour. All right, so it's good to have a whisk for this part to blend your dry ingredients together. Okay. And then our next ingredient is going to be 1 teaspoon of baking soda. All right, so just regular baking soda. Remember the one in the box, not the can. That's baking powder. So you want to have a nice level spoon measurement of baking soda. And that's what's going to give us our puff in the cookies. Right, that little bit of rise, that's our leavening agent. And then we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so I got a little salt in here. Make sure it's nice and level, not too full. And blend that in. So we've got our flour, our baking soda, and our salt in this bowl. So I'm just going to stir them to combine. So I don't want to have any salty spots in the cookie. Okay. And salt in these recipes is always, it's a tenderizer, but it's also about balancing out flavor too, right? And salt will actually bring out the sweetness of your recipe. Okay, so now I'm going to take and add in this flour mixture into my wet ingredients with all the peanut butter and sugar and egg and vanilla that are here, right? But we want to do this a little bit at a time, right? So about 1/3 at a time so that you don't end up wearing the mixture. It's similar to when we did the quick bread. This is going to make our cookie dough. So this is a pretty quick recipe. Once you have all your ingredients out and all your tools, it comes together fairly quickly. All right. Once it's mostly mixed in and not going to splash out, add in another 1/3 of that flour mixture. And just keep stirring. All right, nice and slow. Make sure you're scraping the sides of the bowl and the bottom. Now you can do this on a mixer. There's no reason why you can't, but this is, like I said, it comes together so quickly that it's really easy to do by hand. All right, and I'm going to add that last bit of flour, salt, and the baking soda in. And I'm going to just keep mixing. Now the trick to these cookies is that Hershey Kiss that goes on the top, right? Because right now this is all about the peanut butter. The chocolate is going to be the surprise on top. It's going to make it look really cute, but it's going to help give us that nice combo flavor. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're scraping really well. And you can see now this is getting really nice and thick. Okay, which is what we want. We want a nice scoopable dough, because there's another trick to this dough, which is we're going to roll it and coat it in some sugar before it goes in the oven. Okay. You can see that there. Okay, so I'm just going to set this aside here. Give myself a little space. And I have here a nice big cookie sheet. Okay, and I have a Silpat mat on there, right? This is the nonstick mat. You can also use parchment paper. Remember, not wax paper, because that will burn. And then I have a bowl with a cup of just granulated white sugar. okay, and a cookie scoop. But you can do this with a spoon too. But you want to have about the same size cookies all the way through, as close as you can get, 1-inch balls. So once I scrape this and I roll it into a ball, it'll give me an inch size. Okay. By using scoops and things, keeps your cookies uniform, and also will help to bake evenly, right? So with a cookie scoop, the trick is to pack that cookie dough in there. Use the edge of the bowl to scrape it, okay? So that's nice and flush. Then I'm gonna drop that in the sugar. Just a second, so got a couple of them here. All right, so you can roll these up into balls. All right, and then just coat them in your sugar. Okay, this is gonna help give a nice crunch and a little bit of a crackle on the outside of the cookie, right? And you'll see this with a lot of holiday cookies that you take and roll them in sugar, sometimes cinnamon sugar. And so it's just scoop and scrape. Let's do 6 for now. Okay. Roll that in. Get our cookie balls ready. Coat them nicely in sugar. Makes them a little bit easier to handle too once they are coated in sugar, right? Now remember, right, with this sugar here, since I'm using this with a peanut butter dough, that's an allergy item, okay? Don't put the sugar back in the container, especially if you know anybody in your family who has nut allergies, because it'll make them sick. All right, so now these cookies are gonna go in the oven for 6 minutes, okay? And we're gonna time those. I've got them spread out. I could put another row in here if I wanted to, okay? These are just a half a dozen for now to get us started, okay? This is gonna go in the oven 375 degrees for 6 minutes, okay? And while those are in the oven, right, you wanna have some of these done beforehand and ready to go, but Hershey Kisses, okay? So just the regular Hershey Kisses you buy in the store. You can change out if you like the ones that are white and chocolate, or you like the extra dark or things like that. But you want to have them so that they're already peeled open, right? Because I don't want to put any foil on there. I just want to have just the chocolate. So make sure that you open these all up and get rid of the foil and the little paper tab. Okay. So you have your chocolate ready for your cookies. Okay. And this is from the family size bag, which will be more than enough to do about 4 dozen cookies total, right? So with these here, I can keep scooping and rolling these in sugar as we go. What I'm looking for is, like I said, I'm going to bake them about 6 minutes. These take about 6 to 8 minutes total. But at 6 minutes time, I'm going to pull them out of the oven. I'm going to set a Hershey Kiss right in the center of each little dollop. Okay, that's going to push them down, and this is going to sit in the center as like the little showpiece. Okay. All right, this is the point where I'm going to edit out. Now these are hot, so don't put them on a counter that you can't put them on like I can here, right? This is a stone countertop, which will hold heat, but you still got to be careful, okay? So you can see the cookies here. They're starting to crackle a little bit. So what you want to do is quickly push down on it. And they're supposed to crackle because of the sugar. Okay. You want to set a Hershey Kiss right in the center of each one. And these are going to go back in for like another minute or two. So a little bit hint more color. Okay. So just be careful when you're doing this. Because like I said, this pan is super, super hot. Okay. So these are going to go back in the oven. Just another minute or two. Okay. And like I said, what that's going to do is it'll start to kind of melt the chocolate a little bit, but you still want it to be able to hold that Hershey Kiss shape, right? We don't want to lose that, fun effect. But it's a nice little combination of the two flavors, right? If you put the Hershey Kisses in when we first put them in the oven, like I said, it would just melt all over the tray, and you'd have chocolate-covered peanut butter cookies, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not going to give us this finished look like we've got here, okay? So those are just going in for a minute. You'll be able to pull those out, okay? Remember, if you have any questions, throw them up in the chat. These cookies will just cool on the tray for a couple of minutes afterwards too, and then you can transfer them to a cooling rack. So you want to have a little spatula or something like that handy, so that way you can move them over. So I'm just going to pull these out for now. You're going to see you got to get just a little bit of shine on the Hershey Kiss. Okay, just a little glistening. That's all you want. And you see the curve, the point starts to melt just a little bit. Okay, we're just going to let that finish sitting now on the tray. And you'll be able to see, you know, as they hold up, that chocolate will stay stuck to the top of the cookie. Okay? And it's just a very nice, light, golden brown on the bottom. Okay, now these are hot, so be careful when you're touching the cookies, right? But you can see that nice crackle finish, right? That's what's supposed to happen. Okay, and just a little bit of droop to the Hershey Kiss. Okay. All right, so that is our peanut butter blossom cookies for today. All right. I'm going to stop recording and answer any questions you guys might have.